What is up, guys, and welcome back to Rags to Riches 3, the series where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2009, work our way up through the games, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2017. We are here for the penultimate round of the F1 2009 season. It is, of course, the Brazilian Grand Prix, and if you have missed any of the previous episodes, go catch up with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens. You will find the last race in Japan, which was a great race. You should definitely go check that out if you haven't already done so, but you will also find the whole entire playlist as well if you guys are new to the series. There will also be a link down in the description for you guys who are new here as well. But if you are new here, then you probably don't really know the rules of this series, and basically the position that we end up in the 2009 season determines who we drive for in F1 2010. So we're currently in 7th in the driver's standings, which means that we have got a drive for Toro Rosso next season. So if you got first, it would be a drive for Williams. Second and third would be Force India. Fourth to 6th is Sauber. So that's what we're aiming for at the moment, to try and get either 5th or 6th position at the end of the season to try and get that Sauber seat for next year. 7th to 9th, I believe, is Toro Rosso. So that is currently where we are at the moment. And then it's Lotus down below that. And then HRT and Virgin. It doesn't look like at the moment that we will be driving for Lotus, HRT, or Virgin, because Timo Glock in P10 is 18 points away. He's only on 18 points. That is, you know, a lot of points. About 21 points he has to get to try and overtake us in the championship, which actually is impossible now, because the max amount of points is 20 that you can get. So Toro Rosso is the worst team that we can drive for at the moment on F1 2010, but we're determined to try and get that seat for Sauber. Hopefully we can do it by the end of the season. We've got 2 races left to go to try and do it. Let's have a look at the inbox going into today's race. So the Pit Lane Press race preview for the Brazilian Grand Prix is a bright future for Gullis. After a good start and compliments from the Toro Rosso team, Hayden Gullis will be looking for further points at Sao Paulo. Hopefully we can get some decent points here today, but the main goal is just really to try and beat Nico Rosberg and Kimi Räikkönen. We need to beat both those drivers as we are on the same points. Those, if we can do that, we will get P6 at the end of today's race, unless any other drivers overtake us in the championship, which hopefully does not happen. But without any further ado, let's get into the qualifying session for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Here we go then, one-shot qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and unfortunately it is raining here today, but hopefully we can still set a pretty decent lap time at today's race. Nice and tidy through turn 1, turn 2, maybe missing the apex a little bit through there, but let's see what we can do over the rest of this lap. We need to get into Q2. We've missed out on Q2 quite a few times this season, so I want to make up for it here today. Oh, that's not going to help though, running it wide through that corner. I've got... Oh, what are you doing? Get out of the way! Why are you just hugging the middle of the circuit? Where am I supposed to go, you absolute douchebag? As I've run it wide once again at this Brazilian Grand Prix circuit. Not doing a good job here today. I'm really struggling. I struggle in the wet weather anyway on this game, but it's just always even more difficult in the qualifying sessions. At least in the race, the other drivers can sort of get in each other's way and help me out a little bit. Here, it's just not going to happen. So I just need to be on my A game now on this final section of corners and try and set the best possible result I can. 1 second down at the moment. That's not too bad. It's literally flat out now all the way towards the line. So we can't really mess up anything through these final couple of corners. Here we go. Down towards the line. What is the lap time gonna be good enough for at the Brazilian Grand Prix? We come towards the line. It is good enough to get through at the moment. But as my engineer says, we are not safe yet. There is still a bit of time left to go. And there are still other drivers able to set lap time. So will that be enough to get us through into Q2? Let's find out. Yes, there we go, into Q2. Okay, not the best of results. We're in P13, but nevertheless, we've got the job done. We're into Q2. We're into top 15. Glock, Fisichella, Nakajima, PK, and Sutil all go out in today's session. So let's see what we can do in the second qualifying session. Okay, here we go. One-shot qualifying time now in Q2. And what sort of time can we set here today? It has actually stopped raining out on circuits. That is very good news. We go now in towards turn 2, much better than in Q1. Of course, it helps being on a drier circuit through turn 3 now. And unfortunately, once again, got another driver out ahead of us going down in towards the next couple of corners. Hopefully, this one doesn't hold me up. Is it? It's a Red Bull again. Get out of the way! Oh my God! Those guys are absolute dicks. They really do not want the sister team of Toro Rosso to do better than them. So much that they have to just get in our way in the qualifying session. What an absolute dick. Hopefully that doesn't cost us and stop us from getting through to Q3. But I was definitely on for a good lap time there. I was up at the moment through the first sector on the previous best lap time. So, who knows? But let's see what we can do over the rest of this lap. It's been nice and clean so far, apart from that one incident with the Red Bull there. I'm not too sure whether it was Mark Webber or Sebastian Vettel, but either of them I'll be having words with as I run wide. That's lost me a lot of times. I was doing very well. They're not too far off the pace of Jenson Button. Only a few more corners left to go, but it's pretty much flat out through this whole entire section of corners. Across the line, was the lap time going to be good enough for us? A 1:14. That's not good enough. It's P13 at the end of the day again, and unfortunately that collision with the Red Bull really cost me here today. Okay, I made a mistake in towards what is pretty much the final corner on this circuit, or at least the final proper corner, but I don't even know. I literally don't even know. I'm just really pissed off by the Red Bull driver for literally just getting in my way and not even attempting to get out of the way. He just literally stayed in front of me. What? Like that? I get out of the way of Sebastian Vettel and he decides to get as close to my car. And what on earth is going on? Why? You've got the whole circuit over on the right hand side. Why are you deciding to sit behind me? If I get off the circuit, will you go for the overtake now? No. Oh my god, this is just ridiculous. I literally don't know what to say. Okay, we're out of the qualifying session. At least we got into Q2. P13 is not too bad. We can still probably get into the points from there because we are actually quite quick around this circuit. It's unfortunate that we just got held up by the Red Bull down in towards turn 4. But what on earth is up with the AI on qualifying? If you slow down and go let them through, they will not overtake. They will just sit behind you and try and get as close to your car as they possibly can. Incredible stuff. But anyway, going out with me in Q2 is Nick Highfield, Heikki Kovalainen, and myself, Robert Kubica, and then my teammate of Sebastian Bourdais. So, luckily, Bourdais wasn't able to beat me in the qualifying session, but unfortunately, we are starting outside of the top 10 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. What can we do in the race, though? Let's find out as we head over now to the penultimate race of the 2009 season. It's race day here at the Brazilian Grand Prix for the penultimate round of the F1 2009 season. And we are starting today's race in P13. There's a 90% chance of rain, which means it is raining out on circuit at the moment. So it's going to be a wet race here today. But one of my rivals, Nico Rosberg, starting in P5. The other one, Felipe Massa, in 7th. And Kimi Räikkönen starts today's race in 9th. And there we are in P13 for today's race. So what can we do? 13th on the grid. 6th place in the championship up for grabs as we go to 5 red lights for the penultimate round of the F1 2009 season. It is lights out and away we go. And it's an okay start, but maybe not the best actually. Going down in towards turn 1. Going to take it cautiously up the inside. Oh my god, up the inside of the Renault there, but getting out in P9. After that incredible start up the inside. I took it cautiously at first, but then just dived on the brakes up the inside of all those other drivers just to sort of see what I could do. And now I've got so much spray that I do not have a clue what is going on down towards turn 4. Literally cannot see a ruddy thing through there. But now right on the back still of Kimi Räikkönen. Of course, I need to get past him as soon as I possibly can. But it's very difficult when I cannot see my own braking zones. And my best chance really is going to be on the start-finish straight in the slipstream, trying to get the overtake done on Kimi Räikkönen as I've gone around the outside, but I bumped wheels with the Ferrari man and just about keeping it off the grass there as we went in towards that hairpin. Now's my best chance. If I can just stay behind Kimi Räikkönen, I could get some really good tow, some really good slipstream all the way down to the start-finish straight and maybe get the job done. But it's just picking up that braking point through that final corner. But now this is the chance. Here we go. On the back of Kimi Räikkönen. Following in the slipstream now. What can we do on the Ferrari man all the way down in towards turn 1? No, he's just too quick for us. Kimi Räikkönen just too quick for us at the start of this race, and we are not able to go for the overtake just yet as he's now right on the back of his team. I can see Jarno Trulli as well, I think that is, in the Toyota ahead of us. And then I think that is Nico Rosberg just ahead of him. So we'll be looking to get past those guys as soon as possible. But here we go on Kimi Räikkönen, up the inside, down in towards the next corner. Now I've got to pick out my braking zone, which I haven't done. Oh, how have we got away with that? Okay, we've just been given a black and white flag for the collision with Felipe Massa. But nevertheless, we've got the overtake done on Kimi Räikkönen. We move up another position in today's race. Up into the points, up into P8, now up the inside of Felipe Massa, maybe Jarno Trulli as well for P6 of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And there we go, job done on Jarno Trulli up into P6. And up next for us is going to be Nico Rosberg in that Williams. What can we do on Nico Rosberg? Of course, he is another one of my rivals, but we were on the same points. So if we get past him, we've definitely overtaken him in the championship, whilst also trying to get past and improve our gap on Felipe Massa. Massa's 3 points ahead of us. So we need to make sure we get 3 points more than him in today's race. We're following behind Nico Rosberg, but are we gaining on him at the moment? I can't see because of the spray. Yes, we are on the back of Nico Rosberg. And there we go, job done as we go down in towards the first corner. We move up into P5. Got Rubens Barrichello, the 2 Red Bulls, and Jenson Button ahead of me at the moment. So let's see what we can do on those guys. I much prefer running at this distance from those leaders because I can actually see my braking zones and I can actually, you know, make the corners on the laps at the moment. Whereas when I was running behind Kimi Räikkönen, Massa, Trulli, and Rosberg, I just couldn't see a thing. And there was just no chance of me getting my braking zones. But now I'm right on the back of Rubens Barrichello, so there is a chance here possibly for me to go for the overtake up the inside on the Brawn GP driver. And there we go, job done on Rubens Barrichello. Moving up into P4 now, right on the back of Mark Webber. Need to make sure I get the right braking zone through this corner, which I think I didn't do too badly through there. If I can use my curves to my advantage, I can go for the overtake on Mark Webber. Up the inside now, around the outside. Oh my god! Wow! Look at that! Round the outside of all those drivers. I think Sebastian Vettel may have had a problem, which is why all those guys were going so slowly through that corner. But nevertheless, oh my god, around the outside of all those drivers, just about holding it on the accelerator pedal and keeping it on the tarmac. And we are into the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. This could be a very, very crucial result. If we can get a race win today, it could actually mean that we could catch up to Rubens Barrichello in the championship as well. I know getting Rubens Barrichello won't mean getting any more positions or any more different drives in the 2010 season, but it's all for pride. If we can get P4 in the championship in our first season of Rags to Riches, that would be incredible. Okay, we're going to be coming into the pits on this lap for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Now, we need to be careful coming into pits because if we go too quickly, we will get reset, and that could really cost us in today's race. So we're going to make sure we slow down for the line, and there we go into the pit lane for the Brazilian Grand Prix. There's actually 3 drivers already out of today's race. That's not good news for those drivers here today, but getting a new set of tyres, a lot of fuel going onto the car as well, and hopefully we can come out ahead of Jenson Button, who's also coming to pits on this lap. So it's going to be 12 second stop here today, 12.7 second stop and the Brazilian Grand Prix, and Jenson Button comes out ahead of us. That is not good news here today. It's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted in today's race. Did not want Jenson Button getting out ahead of me, but unfortunately that is the case. And we're just going to have to make sure that we overtake him out on track. Look at the gap that Button has got. We're coming out in a little bit of free air, which is good news for us because it means that we're not going to get held up. We're not going to be blind from the spray, although I did make a big mistake down towards that corner. It's a very tricky corner, that turn 4. Very easy to get wrong, but out in P13 ahead of Jarno Trulli, so I'm very happy with that. Oh, Rosberg's out of today's race. That is fantastic news for us. All we need to do now is get 1 point. Get 1 point and finish ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, and we will move up into P6 in the Drivers' Championship. But it's not over yet. We have still got a long way left to go. 11 laps left in this race. A lot of drivers into the pit lane at the moment. We're running faster than Kimi Räikkönen at the moment, so I'm very happy about that. We're currently in P8 as there's drivers exiting the pit lane. That's Mark Webber in the Red Bull. So he's going to come out just behind those other 2 drivers, which I believe are still yet to make a pit stop in this race. That's good news for me. If Mark Webber can get held up, it could mean that I could potentially overtake him in today's race. We're just going to have to wait and see how this race develops. Okay, Mark Webber currently getting held up big time in today's race by that Renault. I'm not too sure whether it's Alonso or PK. I'm just going to take a guess and say it's PK at the moment, but I'm going to brake early into this next corner because I'm going to take it cautiously. Webber's getting held up at the moment, so I'm not really too fussed, but now I'm going to launch on my curves, launch on my accelerator pedal, and possibly go around the outside. These guys not able to do so. I'm in the spray though, round the outside. Oh my god, I've hit the barrier, I've hit PK, but I still managed to hold the car on the circuit. and move up into P6. How on earth I'm not out of the race, I do not know. But got the job done. I'm up ahead Mark Webber, and I need to now catch up to Jenson Button. I'm definitely quicker than the AI around this Brazilian Grand Prix circuit, because I'm all right on the back now of Jenson Button as we go in towards the final proper corner. If I can take this correctly and use all of my curves, I could possibly overtake Jenson Button around this next corner. Here we go, possibly around the outside like we did earlier. Now switch to the inside on Jenson Button. Here we go, side by side with a Braun GP driver. And that's job done as he comes into the pit lane. So Jenson Button into the pits. I'm currently up into third place, of today's race. Bourdais, I think there was momentarily quite high in the stands, but Glock still out. I think he's going for that one-stop strategy, and Nelson Piquet currently behind me in P4. But onto the podium here today for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So very, very happy with that, but once again messing up into turn 4. Not too sure who's leading at the moment, but hopefully it is neither of the Ferrari drivers.
Is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly?
It is, it's Glock! Oh my goodness me!
It is! Glock is into the pits for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Rubens Barrichello actually leading his home race, but we've come out ahead of him. He's currently just served his pit stop. He's going for the one-stop strategy, so that could really help him here today. But we're in fresh air now. We're going to push on this set of tyres all the way to, I think it's like lap 12 or something like that. And hopefully we can hold on to this position ahead of Rubens Barrichello, but once again messing up into turn 4. I am not enjoying that corner at all, but now I've got Rubens Barrichello all over the back of me. Of course, he wants to win his home Grand Prix, but I also want to win it for pride. I want to get my second race win in the Rags to Riches career, but the tyres are now starting to fail me. So we've got to be aware of that one. Got to be cautious with the tyres because we don't want to push them too hard. And I think we're just going to go for one more lap in today's race, which we are scheduled to do. And I think that should last us because they're yellow at the moment, turning slightly orange. As soon as they've got to orange, it's definitely time to come into the pit. Right, Rubens Barrichello is going to be right on my tail all the way down this straight. So he could possibly go for an overtake down in towards turn 1. So we do have to be aware of that from the Brazilian drive. I'm going to take sort of an inside line, middle ground down in towards turn 1 as my tyres really struggling for grip there through turn 1 into turn 2. Nice and tidy though. Turn 3 should be okay as well, but they are now orange. So it's definitely time to come into the pits here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. A one-stop strategy would have definitely been off the cards for today's race. They certainly would not have lasted here today, making turn 4 though. So at least I managed to do that right. Okay, tyre wear is definitely bad now as I've been given a little bump there by Rubens Barrichello telling me to move along as he wants to get past and overtake me for the lead of the race. Need to make sure I get this final corner right because I do not want him to be ahead of me as I come into the pit lane. Of course, I've got to serve a longer pit stop as well because I need to get a new front wing, but I do have to be cautious coming into the pit lane because I do not want to bash my car against the barrier on the left or on the right there, like I nearly did as I get it slowed down as I go off the circuit. But anyway, into the pit lane, P2 at the moment. 4 drivers currently out of today's race. They are not having a good time at all. But we've got Barrichello, Hamilton, both doing the one-stop strategy. Heikki Kovalainen, whereabouts will he rejoin as well? I think he's into the pits, and we're going to be serving about 11 to 12 second stop once more. And away we go, 13.1. We had to get a new front wing changed on the car, remember, so that is why it took a little bit longer. But Timo Glock coming out ahead of me on circuits. We exit the pit lane now. We've got a group of cars on the right hand side, so we certainly want to come out ahead of these guys. Otherwise it will be very tricky for us to get a good result here today, but we got the job done. We're ahead of those drivers and I'm very happy about that now. So I'm going to take caution down towards turn 4. Do not want to mess up and allow those drivers to get through. It's Jenson Button, in fact, in that Braun car, so I'm very happy to be ahead of him. Currently in P5, and I haven't got any of my rivals ahead of me out on track as well. So that is very good news. Okay, apparently the track ahead is slippery. I mean, it is raining, so that is quite an obvious statement. I'm not too sure. It looks like the rain has picked up here today, so I don't know whether we will be making a switch to full wet tyres or not. We'll just have to wait and see. If we do, that would actually really help me in today's race, because it definitely means that I'll get the tyres till the end of the race. Yes, I know, Jeff. I know that the track is slippery ahead of me. You don't have to tell me, mate. It's raining. It's very obvious that it's slippery out on track. Right, closing up to Glock and Heikki Kovalainen, I believe that is currently running in P3. I'm not too sure, but I think it is Heikki Kovalainen currently running ahead of us in P3 and Glock in P4. So hopefully we can get past those drivers within the next couple of laps. 1.8 seconds is the gap between the two of us at the moment. We take a sort of wide line in towards turn 1 to sort of maximise ourselves through turn 2. But so far so good in this Brazilian Grand Prix. We just need to hold on to this position and maybe have a look on the two drivers ahead of me. Okay, it's not one of the McLarens of Heikki Kovalainen ahead of me at the moment. It's actually one of the Red Bulls, I believe that is. I'm going to say it's Mark Webber, but because I think Vettel is actually out of today's race. So I'm going to go for the overtake possibly on this Toyota. Oh my god, no, 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 no. No, get off me. Get off me. Do not push me into the wall there. Nearly ending my race completely. Now going to have a look up the inside of the Red Bull driver. Can we get the car slowed down? We've gone up the inside. He might go for the switchback maneuver on us, but no, there we go. Job done. Oh, it was actually Sebastian Bourdais. It was the Toro Rosso. It was my own teammate. We are on for a 3-4 at the moment if we can hold on to this result, but we need to make sure we hold on to it as I've gone on the grass there. Do not want to do that. Bourdais currently running in P4. He was actually on the podium for his second podium of the season. I feel bad that I am actually taking that away from him at the moment, but nevertheless, I would rather have the points than him because I want that Sauber seat at the end of the day. So sorry, Sebastian Bourdais, I'm taking away P3. Okay, then 2 laps left to go of the Brazilian Grand Prix. The gap to Lewis Hamilton is 20 seconds, so there is pretty much no chance in hell that I'm going to be able to catch up to Lewis Hamilton, but I can keep Sebastian Bourdais behind me and hold on to this podium position. If I get P3, then that is going to be very, very good for my championship. It means I would jump ahead of Felipe Massa and Nico Rosberg as I've gone too deep into turn 4 once more, but I will stay ahead of Nico Rosberg, Felipe Massa and Kimi Räikkönen in the driver's standings, unless Lewis Hamilton was close enough behind me going into today's race to actually overtake me in the standings. But I don't think he was. I don't think Lewis Hamilton was. Final lap then of the Brazilian Grand Prix. My tyres at the moment are yellow, so I do have to be careful with that tyre wear. It is going to get aggressive towards the end of this race, so they're going to start to go orange by the end of this lap. So I do have to be aware of that. Brake early into corners. Just make sure I get through them. But I've got a little bit of a gap now to Sebastian Bourdais. Lewis Hamilton getting further ahead of me, but like I said before, not really too bothered about him at the moment. But can Sebastian Bourdais hold on to P4? That would be amazing for Toro Rosso if he can finish P3 and P4 at the end of this race. But at the moment, just sort of focusing on my own race, making sure I bring the car home for P3 as I run a little bit too deep into that hairpin. Not long left to go, halfway around this circuit, so not long left to go before we get another podium in the Rags to Riches career. Running a little bit too deep once more. That allows Sebastian Bourdais to close in the gap. Not long left to go. One proper corner, and then it's pretty much flat out all the way to the line for the penultimate round of the 2009 season. Once again, going a little bit too deep into that corner, but using all of my curves available to me. Down towards the line now. His foot down on the accelerator pedal. Will it be a podium? Will it be our third podium in F1 2009? Yes, it will. Third position on the podium here today and beating my teammate of Sebastian Bourdais. Mark Webber getting a penalty in today's race. Lewis Hamilton finishing ahead of us, and so does Rubens Barrichello. But let's press 2 and go to the end of the race and see exactly what's happened. But Rubens Barrichello, he wins today's race, so a great result there for the Brawn GP driver as home Grand Prix, and that certainly means that we cannot catch up to him in the championship anymore. Lewis Hamilton, he finishes in second, and I join those two on the podium. Great result, but even better result, P4. P4 for Sebastian Bourdais. What an incredible result there for the two Toro Rosso drivers, for myself and for my teammate, and a great day for Toro Rosso at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Timo Glock, he finishes in 5th with Jenson Button 6th, Jarno Trulli in 7th, and Robert Kubica gets the final championship point here today. Heikki Kovalainen and Kimi Räikkönen both missing out on points. Where was Felipe Massa? Was he out of the race? Yes! Massa, Vettel, Rosberg, Alonso, all out of today's race. They just couldn't hack it. They just could not hack it in these rainy conditions, and unfortunately for those guys, they're out. But that means if we look at the Drivers' Championship, I have moved above Massa and Rosberg. I'm in P5. But that's not job done yet. That is not job done yet. We can't catch up to Sebastian Vettel, so there's no point trying to get him at the end of the day. But I can be overtaken by Massa, by Rosberg, by Raikkonen, all of those drivers in the final race of the season. So I just need to make sure I stay ahead of all of them. If I can do that, then I will get a Sauber seat for next season. Let's look at the Constructors' standings, though, after the penultimate round of this season. Brawn GP overtake Red Bull to retake top spot of the Constructors' Championship. We have moved even further into 4th position. Williams and Renault can still overtake us, and even Toyota possibly can still overtake us in the Championship, but we just need to make sure we stay ahead of those two teams. If we can get a good result in Abu Dhabi, then that will be 4th place in the Constructors' standings. But that is it for today's Brazilian Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Here we go then, the emails after today's Brazilian Grand Prix. A podium finish for Gullis. A superior drive from Hayden Gullis earned him a podium finish in Brazil. The finish takes Gullis to 5th in the Drivers' Championship table. Very happy with that 5th position. Team progress from all of us at Toro Rosso. We'd like to congratulate you on some excellent driving today. We are proud to have you carrying the Toro Rosso name so well, and hope you are proud we are carrying yours too. We feel our partnership can continue to grow through the season and result in some fantastic wins. So Toro Rosso very happy with me. I'm very happy with Toro Rosso. We're doing a good job at the moment in the season. But that is it for the Brazilian Grand Prix. That is it for the penultimate round of the F1 2009 season. Up next, it is of course the finale, the final round of this 2009 season. Unfortunately, it's going to be sad because we have to say goodbye to the Nintendo Wii, although secretly I'm very happy to get off it because I just want to get back to at least a controller or a proper steering wheel. This Wii steering wheel was not fun to, well, it is fun to drive with. It is funny at the same time, but it's still very, very difficult, especially with the unpredictability of the AI on this game. But that is it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here for daily Rags to Riches, daily F1 2017 career mode, and also a whole load of other Formula 1 content coming to this channel as well. And also, as always, don't forget to leave your comments in the section below. I reply to pretty much all of the comments, so, you know, there's about a 98% chance that I'm going to reply to your comment if you leave one in the comment section below. But that's it for today's Brazilian Grand Prix. I will see you next time for the finale of the 2009 season. But until then, it's goodbye from me.